Tri-Cities Sports Now. I'm Marky Billson with the man that I think has been covering the ETSU baseball coaching search the best. I'm speaking, of course, of John Brice, author of the blog Brice's Views from the Top, and he's been really all over the ETSU coaching search. Looked like Danny Clark was going to be coming in. Now doesn't look like Danny Clark is coming in. Danny Clark, the former Milligan coach, who also for the past several years has been the roving pitching instructor of the Texas Rangers. White Sox pitcher Derek Holland raves about him. Anyway, John Brice, thanks for joining me, and congratulations for being the man to really be reporting on ETSU in your blog. A lot of people are also going to be familiar with your work covering Tennessee on 24/7, or 24/7 Vols. But anyway, what's going on with the East Tennessee State baseball coaching search?
Well, I think for a long time, Marty, and thanks for having me on your show, that it was far and away Danny Clark as the front runner, and I think that's who ETSU initially wanted to hire. They conducted multiple interviews with Danny, but frankly, the Texas Rangers just deemed him a very attractive asset in their organization, and I think made him an offer, a multi-year contract offer that he really couldn't refuse, and certainly couldn't wait around as this ETSU coaching search process just sort of drags on. He couldn't wait around on that, and the Texas Rangers just really value him. And I've known Danny a long time. From he was coach at my alma mater high school, Morristown West, when I was just getting started early in the newspaper world, and knew him back then, so I know what his reputation is. I think he would have been a golden hire for ETSU, but again, the Texas Rangers have really deep pockets and really great resources and value him. And so that's sort of left the search where it is now, I think. They've interviewed Esposito, the South Carolina assistant, who was part of Holbrook's staff that got dismissed. And they are definitely interested in Ash Lawson, who interviewed for the UT job. So there's a lot going on there, but timing is key, in my opinion. They need to make this hire far sooner than later to try and salvage some recruiting efforts this summer.
Well, those are two interesting names that you bring up there. I'll say with Clark, I know Tony Skoll was making about $88,000 a year at ETSU. It gives you kind of a ballpark idea of the money that maybe they have to spend. The Tennessee is now paying their baseball coach $493,000 a year, if memory serves. So, what you're telling us here, John Brice, of Brice's Views from the Top, basically the Rangers were able to outbid the Buccaneers, and I guess when you understand the salary limitations maybe of ETSU, that is understandable, if that's what I'm getting.
Yeah, well, it was part of that. I think Danny Clark would have been willing to take a sizable pay cut to return to East Tennessee, but I think as the process just dragged on and the Rangers made him know how prioritized he was within their organization and what they were willing to do to keep him, I think that sort of clarified matters for him. Yeah, the Tennessee job is interesting. Just briefly, since you touched on that salary, Vitelli's average deal is $493 a year. What most people don't realize is that that's actually less than what Dave Serrano was making when he left UT. He had been making $500,000 or a little more than that for the past few years. So Tennessee is invested in the program, but it's shown that it will pay even more. And I am told that ETSU will pay six figures this time around for its coach.
I imagine so, but then again, I can also understand the Rangers wanting to pony up a little bit more than what the Buccaneers might be able to pay. Now, John Brice, are you aware of any I've heard that a JUCO college coach was kind of talked to by ETSU, or there was some interest there, but he turned him down. Are you aware of anything of this nature?
Yeah, it's the Iowa Western Community College coach, and his name escapes me. I've written about him, but that was kind of early in the process, and I think he sent maybe 120 kids to D1 baseball programs through his school in Iowa, and he was initially an assistant over in North Carolina at one of the schools there that played in the Tri-Cities and played some of those teams like Milligan, so he's got some familiarity with the area, and some folks knew him. but he also has a really good thing going at Iowa Western. I think they're perennially the number one JUCO program in the country, and I have been told that he talked to ETSU but indicated he wasn't particularly interested at this time. And it's important to note that that's not necessarily unusual for him. He has turned down multiple D1 jobs through the years as he's continued to build that Iowa program and continued to enjoy the resources and success that he has there.
Who would have thought that Iowa Western Community College would be such an attractive job or an attractive place? But Dr. Richard Sander, ETSU AD, does like coaches from Iowa. Just look at Steve Forbes. Hey, I got to take a break here. John Brice, Brice's Views from the Top, Tri-City Sports Now.
Start your day with the Rick and Bubba Show, weekdays 7 to 9 on 1420 NBC Sports Radio Tri-Cities.
Your NBC Sports Radio update starts now.
Friday in the NBA with another day of action on and off the court, with the Celtics clearing more room for Gordon Hayward, trading Avery Bradley and a second-round pick to the Pistons for Marcus Morris. The Hawks now have 2 days to match the 4-year, $71 million offer sheet that the Knicks have given to Tim Hardaway Jr., the guy that Phil Jackson traded away in 2015. On the court tonight, NBA Summer Pro League play in Las Vegas. Baseball Tribe manager Terry Francona underwent a heart procedure and is going to be out until after the All-Star break. Coming up, daytime action at Wrigley between the Cubs and the Pirates. Tonight in the Bronx, the Yankees will host the Brewers, who have won 4 in a row and 7 of their last 8. And a nice interleague matchup in L.A. The Dodgers welcome in the surging Royals, who are just a game out of first place and riding a 4-game winning streak. I'm Jeff Biggs, NBC Sports Radio.
Introducing the new Sleep Number 360 smart bed. The only bed smart enough to sense your movement and automatically adjust to both of you so you stay comfortable all night. Does your bed do that? Well, right now, save on Sleep Number 360 smart beds. Plus, it's the lowest prices of the season with our most popular 2016 P5 bed, now only $15.99. Save $500. Special financing available and Sunday. For more details and to find a store near you, go to sleepnumber.com. Special financing subject to credit approval. Minimum payments required. See store for details.
If there's one thing the pros at Advance Auto know, it's parts.
Advance Auto Parts and Batteries. This is Steven. How can I help you?
Hey, Steven, I'm wondering if you have any deals on oil this month?
Yeah, we're running 5 quarts of Pennzoil, conventional or high mileage for $19.99 the pure liter filter.
Okay, sounds good.
And be sure to sign up for Speed Perks for even more savings.
Awesome. Thanks.
Now at Advance Auto, get 5 quarts of Pennzoil conventional or high mileage motor oil and a pure liter filter for just $19.99 after $5 mail-in rebate. See store for details. Also at participating CarQuest Auto Parts stores.
At Signature Properties, we want to make your home search as easy as possible. Go to the all-new sigprops.com, where our user-friendly search options can help you get on the right path to finding your new home. Not ready to buy? Not a problem. Click the Rental tab and see what's available through our rental department. No matter your home search needs, we're here to help. And don't forget, at Signature Properties, you buy or sell, we get.
Find your future at the first college in Tennessee. Tusculum College and the Graduate and Professional Studies program offers accredited associate, bachelor, and master degree programs designed for career-minded working adults. Classes are held at night and feature a student-faculty ratio of 15-1. GPS also offers fully online degrees in business, healthcare management, information technology, education, and talent development. Tuition rates are very affordable, with financial aid packages available for full and part-time students. Apply today at tusculum.edu/GPS 2017 or schedule a visit at one of our convenient class locations. Call 423-636-7300. That's 423-636-7300. Find your future at Tusculum College.
Not much rain to slow you down today. We're partly cloudy the rest of today with only a slight chance of a thundershower. 85 the high. 1 or 2 thundershowers tonight. Temperatures cooler, low to mid-60s. Scattered thundershowers, though, tomorrow and 82. For 1420 NBC Sports Radio Tri-Cities, I'm Terry Smith from the Weather Channel.
In Irwin, it's mostly cloudy and 77. In Greenville, it's mostly cloudy and 72. In Johnson City, it's mostly cloudy and 78. The Dan Patrick Show, weekdays 9 till noon on 1420 NBC Sports Radio Tri-Cities, where every day is game day.
Tis I, Marcus Kitchen Billson IV, with a pretty good reporter, John Brice. We were talking off the break. We both have a mutual friend in Trey Williams. You know him from his blog, Brice's Views from the Top, as well as being the Vols sideline reporter. We got John Curry coming up, by the way, in about an hour. But right now we're talking a little bit to this guy doing some ace reporting, I think. And you've spoken a little bit of who has not come to the Buccaneers fold. Danny Clark and Mark Harden, by the way, the head coach at Iowa Western Community College. That's the person in question here. But I wanted to ask Ash Lawson. You say that they've talked to him, and he applied also for the Tennessee job, and there was some interest there. What can you tell me about Ash Lawson?
Yeah, Ash Lawson has a really strong track record and is very well known throughout the state of Tennessee and really a lot of the South. He works for the New York Mets right now as a special assignment scout, so he's got tons of connections nationally, but he coached Tennessee Wesleyan to an NAIA World Series appearance several years ago. He was briefly an assistant for a year at the University of Tennessee on Todd Raleigh's staff and actually signed Mookie Betts to the Vols, and had that staff turnover not occurred, then Mookie Betts was going to report to Knoxville and play baseball at the University of Tennessee rather than sign his contract with the Boston Red Sox. But when the staff change occurred, Ash Lawson just, I think, helped Mookie counsel him through that session and helped him get nearly a $1 million signing bonus at the time from the Red Sox. And now Mookie Betts is an all-star and an MVP candidate for one of the most storied franchises in all of baseball. But he runs a camp in Tennessee around Christmas every year that draws high school coaches and players from all over the state of Tennessee, all over the South, down around Chattanooga, and is very well respected, extremely good baseball knowledge, extremely professional guy. Again, tons of contacts, tons of knowledge of the game. I think he was a two-sport athlete in college, maybe played some baseball and basketball at UNC Greensboro before finishing his career elsewhere. So Ash Lawson is really impressive. And then so they have talked to him and expressed some interest in him this week, I think, as things shifted away from Danny Clark once Danny kind of withdrew from consideration and went ahead and kept pushing forward with the Texas Rangers.
Now, you had mentioned Sammy Esposito was also looked at, but I just did a little bit of internet research here just right now, and I found out that he recently accepted a position just yesterday at Wichita State as an assistant coach. Sammy Esposito used to be an assistant at South Carolina. So, I mean, I guess by process of elimination, John Brice of Brice's Views from the Top, does this make Ash Lawson the leading candidate for the ETSU baseball job?
I think it does, and I think, honestly, it's been that way since the first of the week. I just think that's sort of where things had trended, because the interview with Esposito, I think, had taken place last Thursday or Friday, and then, again, they shifted things forward this week to speak with Lawson this week, and I think that's where it's at right now. A name I wouldn't completely discount who's been in the mix on the periphery is Clay Green, and a lot of Tri-Cities folks would know him because he was the hitting coach at ETSU, and now he is assistant head coach and recruiting coordinator at the University of Memphis. But in my opinion, he's the best hitting coach in the state of Tennessee, and he has great ties, obviously, from Memphis through the Tri-Cities, knows a ton of high school coaches, and his teams at ETSU, if I'm not mistaken, still stand as some of the best hitting teams in the history of Bucs baseball, and he's had similar success at the University of Memphis. And the University of Memphis plays some good baseball and plays in a high RPI league. They're a top 5 RPI league year in and year out. So I think it's Ash Lawson number one, but I wouldn't completely rule out Clay Green. He's got some people on campus very much in favor of him right now, and he's a guy who played at the University of Tennessee before coaching at ETSU and now at Memphis. I think he would be a really attractive hire as well.
Well, we're getting all the names here from John Brice, from Brice's Views from the Top. And, we're talking about, so you know him as the Vol sideline reporter and such. And, of course, don't forget, in about an hour, John Curry joins me here on Tri-Cities Sports Now. Hey, just finishing up here, how attractive do you think, John, the ETSU job is?
I think if they commit some more to salary, not just for the head coach but for the assistants, and can increase their recruiting budget a little bit, I do think it's a very attractive job. I think a lot of people can tend to overlook the volume of baseball talent in the state of Tennessee, but there's as much or more high-end baseball talent than there is any other sport in the state. You can just look around any major league roster and see all the kids that are Tennessee natives, so there's a chance to do a lot of good there. You can still dip over into the Carolinas and into Virginia and some other areas to form your recruiting base. So I do think it's an attractive job. I think that ETSU athletics has a lot going for it right now with the momentum sort of spearheaded by Forbes. I know Scott Carter is a really sharp guy there helping Doc Sanders. So I think that ETSU has a lot going for it. Got to upgrade the finances a little bit there to remain competitive. But if they can make a commitment to do that, I think it's a very attractive job.
All right. Well, John Brice, I did want to ask you, now you mentioned something, the amount of baseball talent in Tennessee. To me, that is a recent development because I remember I think there's only one native Tennessean in the Baseball Hall of Fame, Turkey Stearns, who's an old Negro leaguer. Now, maybe Todd Helton will change that. But when you look historically at where the major leaguers are from, really not Tennessee. But now Science Hill, for instance, as you know, the high school in Johnson City, has 5 players in the pros, including Daniel Norris, who, of course, just got put on the disabled list yesterday by the Detroit Tigers. But why do you think there's been this change? Why do you think baseball has suddenly become a sport that is the players are coming from Tennessee? Why?
I think Tennessee geographically stays warm enough that it can there's still a lot of winter ball that has developed in the last decade or so, and even within that winter ball, then teams from the Tri-Cities can very easily go down and play in South Carolina in the winter months, or teams from Chattanooga and the mid-state can go and play in Birmingham or Atlanta, or have access to all these facilities within a day's drive. So I just think there's been a greater commitment to it. Again, a guy like Ash Lawson has been running his camp in December, and it sells out, and it's so good, that a couple of years ago it put the Dave Serrano Christmas baseball camp out of business because Ash Lawson was doing his at the same time about 50 miles from Knoxville and had major leaguers helping with it, and everybody was going there. So I just think there's better instruction and better resources available year-round, and I think there's been a commitment to it. I mean, you look at Farragut, they've got a bevy of kids out there. I mean, we touched on Mookie Betts. David Price is another one. There's some guys on the Braves who hail from Tennessee. So there's a lot of talent in Major League Baseball and in the minor leagues that are Tennessee natives.
And R.A. Dickey from UT, he's pitching tonight against the Nationals. Hey, John Brice, thank you so much for taking some time and really opening some eyes and telling us some scoops here on Tri-City Sports Now. I really enjoyed it. And actually, I think if you're willing, you've earned a repeat performance to advertise your blog on here. It's Brice's Views from the Top, and I'm impressed. Thank you, John, for joining me here today. When we come back,
have a great weekend.
Thank you. When we come back, hey, Dave Serrano, he's got a new job. I'll tell you about that, and plus some tidbits going on in the local sports world. Tri-City Sports Now comes back after this.
Shop at Crabtree Buick GMC. It means trust. For over 60 years, Crabtree has been selling quality vehicles in the Tri-Cities. It means service. With certified service technicians and a state-of-the-art facility, we can take care of any service need. It means value, with a large selection of stylish Buick models at great prices. It means precision, with the professional-grade engineering you'll find in every GMC vehicle. It means you can find your next vehicle at Crabtree Buick GMC in Bristol, Virginia, where your neighbors trade.
Did you know that the 5 most common symptoms of hearing loss are muffled or blurred hearing, difficulty understanding what people are saying, especially when there's competing noises in the background, listening to the television or the radio at higher volumes than you did in the past, avoiding conversations and social interactions, and complaining that people are not articulating. If you think you have any of these symptoms, you may have hearing loss. Unfortunately, most people with hearing loss wait 7 years when they first notice some of these symptoms before they seek help. If you think you have a hearing loss or having difficulty understanding speech, schedule for a complete hearing evaluation with Dr. Daniel R. Schumeyer and Associates, audiologist in Johnson City or Greenville, Tennessee. Call 423-928-5771 for their Johnson City office and 423-638-2721 for their Greenville office, or check them out on their website at johnsoncityhearingcenter.com. Remember, you could be hearing from us.
This week on The Revolution with Jim and Trav, we're lobbing lead and punching paper as we talk firearms, ammunition, accessories, and gear. We'll also take an in-depth look at becoming a better marksman and fostering the next generation of hunters. Joining us is Jim and John Scouten of Shooting USA and Jeremy Millette from Silencer Shop. It's presented by Outdoor Channel, Sportsman Channel, World Fishing Network, and My Outdoor TV. Saturday mornings at 11 on 1420 NBC Sports Radio Tri-Cities.
I'm not a hunter. That would be impossible when you're the little boy of Dr. Vita Joyce Hull. I've been a fisherman before. I'm never going to be a hunter. I mean, if my mother would I would never be able to talk to her again. I've enjoyed target shooting. Anyway, what I'm getting to is that outdoor show I might, though, listen to just because of the music that was played in the background. That was outstanding. Couple of other things about Ash Lawson, who now, you heard the scoop here on Tri-Cities Sports Now, front runner for the ETSU job, according to John Brice. Hey, Ash Lawson, he's been a scout and a college coach, if this is the guy that is getting the job. He was an assistant at Elon, around the time when the first run of this show back in the 90s. But then back in 99, head coach of Bluefield College. Speaking of people who were on this show back then, anybody remember Brian Woodson used to write for the Irwin Record and then the Bristol Herald Courier? He's been the sports editor up in Bluefield. I don't know if the paper's in Bluefield, Virginia or West Virginia, but Bluefield, okay? And he's been the head coach of Bluefield. Anyway, not Woodson, but Ash Lawson has been the head coach of Bluefield College back in 1999. He was an interim coach. And he set a school record 29 victories and took the school to its first conference tournament title. Then he had 5 years at Tennessee Wesleyan, led the team to 3 straight Appalachian Athletic Conference championships, setting school records for victories each year, capping out at 42, a 42-16 record in 2004. Okay, you're saying, yeah, but that's small college. And there's something to be said for that, yeah. But then he was a scout for 5 years for the Padres. Then he was a scout for 6 years for the Padres. Assistant coach at Tennessee for a year, August 10 through December 11. Then special assignment scout for the Mets. One could do worse than Ash Lawson if that is who the Buccaneers are going to bring in to be their coach.